In the Marvels, Captain Marvel gets cosmically connected to two other marvelous Marvel superheroes, Miss Marvel and Professor Marvel, which is lucky for her, because this time she must face her toughest opponent yet, the hammer of an earlier villain, as well as the bracelet of the other hero. And yeah, I guess there's a person there holding them too. And to be fair, the first trailer did make this seem like one of the more interesting MCU movies in a while. What? Why? Because instead of being just another MCU superhero entry, there's a fresh idea at the center here, like you would find in a non-franchise script. Whenever the heroes use their powers simultaneously, they swap places. That's a pretty inventive addition, and it does lead to good stuff, like the heroes zapping into events already in motion, fun relationship moments, action that stands out, as well as even pretty amusing comedic moments.
Oh, it's cool, it's Carol.
Unfortunately, all of this is ruined, of course, since it is the MCU we're talking about. A brand that once incited excitement that has now become an embodiment of hurting yourself with unnecessary crappiness. You know, it doesn't really help that there's a fresh idea to generate action when the action still looks like it was animated on Microsoft Paint. My point here is this: it does not matter how much positive potential the Marvels has going for it, because it suffers from the main pitfalls that come with being Marvel. It may not be the worst or the most problematic MCU movie to date, but it does represent the core problems of the MCU in a worse way than any movie before. And I understand that there are tons of those problems, like the over-reliance on goofy CGI, as I just mentioned. But that's superficial on the surface. The core issues with the MCU of today are best described with these key words: gimmicks, checks in boxes, and universe obsession. Those problems are the main reason why Marvel today is an embodiment of Ohio filmmaking. So let's look into that. Let's look at the Marvels to identify what the MCU's biggest self-inflicted wounds are and how they have grown out of f***ing control.
You have done that yourself!
Here's how Marvel is hurting itself today and what it must do to stop the bleeding.
What have I become? My sweet.
The first key Marvel problem hurting this movie is that almost everyone and everything is a gimmick worth nothing more than the gimmick itself. What gimmick basically means is an easily comprehensible idea that can be sold to the audience quickly. It can be useful when used to build value, but the issue here is that the value of things is limited mostly to their gimmicks, from the characters to the story to even scene-level content. On the character side, look at the villain, whose introduction consists of her landing on this planet to look for something. Do we know anything about her? Do we see any action that would make us take her seriously as a villain? No, but she has this cosmic hammer that was used by an earlier cosmic villain, Malekith. Therefore, she's a badass villain, right?
It's called the Universal Weapon.
And in terms of her plan, do we know anything about it? Do we see anything that would make us take her plan seriously? No, but she digs up this cosmic bracelet that's like the one that one of the heroes has. Therefore, whatever she's planning, it must be a big deal, right?
They were forged as a pair.
We'll keep looking for it. It must be buried elsewhere.
Like where?
End of introduction.
Is that it?
I think so.
And what about when the heroes finally meet the villain? Where does her value come from then? Well, she puts on that bracelet. She uses the bracelet to absorb Captain Marvel's attack. She combines the bracelet's stolen power with the hammer, and now she's super deadly.
Her band absorbs your energy and redirects it. You gave her power.
Then she goes to this planet and uses the bracelet and hammer to open up the sky, and now the whole planet is in danger. The point is that by the end, there's like 5 gimmicks active at once, which are crushing the villain underneath them. And that's not good. Thanos was good because he was more than his glove. The glove was good because the stones had value beyond just their gimmicky powers. It's tough to get invested in characters when 90% of their value comes from superficial labels and the stuff they wear, to the point where the person underneath could be anyone, which is already kind of the case.
You're a Hawkeye. Hold that thought.
Oh, the reason you should like this new hero is because in her introduction, for some reason, she's a fan of Captain Marvel, who you know. And look, now something's happening with her bracelet. End of introduction. I don't give a shit. Same issue with the story, which is basically run by gimmicks. Oh, the way Captain Marvel learns about the villain is because some space jump mumbo jumbo left a trace or something.
What do you know about the surge in the jump point system a few hours ago?
Oh, the way the heroes end up joining forces is because they touch the space jump mumbo jumbo that's also connected to the bracelet, and now they swap places when they use their powers.
Our joint exposure to these unsteady jump points and our susceptibility to electromagnetic energy has temporarily...
Oh, the villain plans to use the bracelet to tear open the space jump mumbo jumbo to restore her planet's atmosphere and sun that were destroyed for reasons never properly established.
The Civil War has polluted our skies, and our sun is dying.
Oh, and then it kills her. Okay. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but what I mean is that what you see is what you get. The two other heroes don't even have a personal reason to fight the villain. They just become connected to Captain Marvel, who is fighting the villain, and so now I guess they may as well fight the villain too, whatever. The story is all gimmicks and it's hurting because of it.
I'm sorry, but your daughter will have to stay aboard my ship until we can get to...
The universe isn't safe. And if the universe isn't safe, that means you guys aren't safe.
Same issue on individual scene level, like when the heroes go to this water planet that the villain plans to steal water from. The special thing here is that all the people communicate with song.
Our language is song. Most of them won't understand you unless you sing.
Which is interesting until you realize that it's f***ing pointless. Does the singing tie into this being a water planet? Does it serve any larger purpose for later? Well, of course not. It's just a scene where people dance and sing because that's what it is. It's a gimmick for this one scene.
Do I have with my dance partner this time?
What is happening?
Again, gimmicks can be useful when used to build value beyond the gimmick itself, like when the alien cats are not there just to be cute, but to build a scene of overcoming an obstacle. And the problem is that mostly that's not the case here. The swapping dynamic is cool, but it rarely grows beyond chaotic CGI action. I mean, the first montage of the heroes playing with the dynamic ends in Nick Fury shooting an enemy.
Strong theory.
Why? If this montage is about the swapping dynamic, why does it end in a character who isn't even involved in the dynamic? Well, because clearly the filmmakers just had this idea and didn't actually know how to use it for something more. The second key Marvel problem that hurts this movie is that everything in it is way too formulaic, like a series of checks in MCU boxes. What this basically means is that while this movie may not be bad in anything it does, everything it does feels standard at best. In Ms. Marvel's introduction, she's in her bedroom to deliver quirky exposition about being a Captain Marvel fangirl, and then something happens with her MacGuffin. The end. That's the scene.
Is that it?
The early stakes come from the fact that the villain is going to some planet to destroy it.
The Supreme is already on tarmac.
And we of course must go stop it and save the people. Not because we know who these people are, but because they're people and the planet is being destroyed.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
The end. That's the scene. Then the stakes become about saving this other planet with other unknown people, which of course means more terribly lit CGI chaos. Yes, that works. Moving on. My point is that everything feels basic, a variation on a formula, like the villain. Oh, she was a normal soldier, but then this tragic planet event happened, and now she's after this cosmic MacGuffin to try to fix things, even though her obsession might be making things worse. Wow, how inventive, we've never seen that before.
Possible.
In other words, the villain lacks specificity, like how Thanos was the only possible villain for Infinity War. This villain, there's nothing specific or special about her. Weren't there thousands of soldiers like her who all have the same tragic backstory, who all could be the villain of this movie? Except she just happens to be the one with the cosmic weapons, so I guess she's the villain. It's tough to encapsulate what I mean because what I mean affects everything, like the action for example. Even though the swapping, for instance, does bring variety on the surface, it doesn't change the fact that it's the same goofy, over-CGI'd Marvel action as always. Yeah, the villain is powerful, so let's shoot lasers at her. Yeah, the planet is being destroyed, so let's fly over to punch the villain without actually being physically affected by the fact that the planet is being destroyed. Yeah, whatever, the heroes just fight the villain. This stuff made money in 2007, so it's good enough for today as well.
This summer, you will say, what the hell is happening? Until they give the bad guy the thing he wants.
Give me that cube!
And then it kills him. Seriously, it's f***ing stupid.
I'm going in circles with this, so to hammer in my point, look at the ending, which is by far the worst ending in an MCU movie so far. Not because it's necessarily bad, but because nothing is done with it. Oh, the villain gets the MacGuffin she's after and snaps it together, which has never been established, and then she dies. Oh, the space-time erupts, so we gotta close it or the universe will be destroyed, I guess. Oh, one of the heroes flies to the eruption to shoot lasers at it and ends up making a big sacrifice, and that's it. The end. Good, moving on.
Good, got it, great, good.
Now, although there's nothing wrong with this finale, can you see the problem? The problem that, hey, isn't this just a repeat of history? Didn't Iron Man already make this space portal sacrifice in the first Avengers, but with actual character stuff for emotion and enough opposition to give it weight? Wasn't Haley Steinfeld's character already this kind of Avenger fan in the Hawkeye movie, but with actual justification why? Never mind that. Look at this blue alien from the X-Men. No, your tricks don't work anymore. They can't hide the fact that you're repeating the past in a bare minimum way. While true blockbuster auteurs like Michael Bay always search for new ideas that have never been done or even reproduced since, The Marvels is a product of a machine. A factory machine that keeps repeating the same tasks with diminishing returns. It shows and it hurts.
Good, got it, great, good.
The third key Marvel problem hurting the Marvels is the obsession with a connected universe.
I think this is pretty cool.
And while this has been the case always, recently it has grown so dominant that you basically have to go to Marvel school to even understand what you're seeing. As an example, the value of many characters in this movie is based mostly on material not in this movie. I think Ms. Marvel, for instance, has potential and I wanna like her, but I just don't have enough to do so. Aside from her magical bracelet, all I get to know about her here is that she's a living at-home fangirl of Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Which can be cool, but becomes pretty repetitively one note when that's almost all she is in this movie.
Captain Marvel is in her house?
Hold that thought.
You know my name. What's happening? We're like touching each other? Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Wait, why is Miss Marvel a fan of Captain Marvel in the first place?
Shut the f up, you.
Oh, sorry, you can't get fully invested in this character unless you first see her 8-hour Binga-Bonga Disney Plus show. Credit card, please. And this issue not only leads to less enjoyment, but also confusion. Professor Marvel has an emotional bond with Captain Marvel, which I do understand and feel since it was present in the previous movie as well as here. That works. But what doesn't work with Professor Marvel is everything else. In the beginning, she's an astronaut in a spacesuit. Okay. Then she morphs out of her spacesuit. Then she's in space without a suit with no problems at all. Wait, what? Then she says that she has electromagnetic powers that she got from a witch.
I walked through a radiation shielding barrier of a witch hex and now I can manipulate and see all wavelengths of the electromagnetic.
And because she has those powers, suddenly that means she can somehow fly as well, which now becomes the basis for this scene.
You gotta fly.
Hold on, what? Oh. You know, it's tough to care about the scene of saving Nick Fury's crew when I don't even know who they are, aside from the fact that one of them said he's 300 years old somehow.
How old are you?
306.
It's tough to think anything about the villain when I don't even understand her strength. At first, she appears to be an average alien woman with objects of power, and then suddenly she jumps off a spaceship as if her bones don't take fall damage.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner?
Aim for the bushes.
Altogether, this movie relies way too much on backstory that may or may not exist somewhere else. The villain's tragic tale is that she witnessed Captain Marvel destroy her empire's ChatGPT, which plunged the empire into a civil war. A civil war that ruined their atmosphere and oceans and even turned off their sun.
Civil war has polluted our skies. My people cannot breathe. Our sun is dying.
Now, what does that mean? How does a civil war turn off the sun? I don't know, it's not in this movie, but that's apparently what happened. Which means that now everything that's built on a Civil War backstory is infected and ruined. Oh, the basis for Captain Marvel's torn relationship with Professor Marvel is the Civil War. She felt responsible for the sun getting destroyed, so she couldn't return home to let Professor Marvel see her that way.
I'm the reason why the Civil War started in the first place. I'm the reason why they couldn't breathe the air. And I never wanted you to see that version of me.
And it's like, huh? All Captain Marvel did on screen was destroy the evil ChatGPT from the first movie. How did we get from that to Captain Marvel blaming herself for the air and sun being destroyed? Like, what are you waffling about? How would young Professor Marvel even find out? Give me a f***ing break. Oh, the basis for the mission to save the green aliens is that they're the green aliens. You know, the green aliens with the rich history.
The Skrull have been scattered to every corner of the universe.
Going after the Skrulls on Tarnax.
Made refugees wherever we go.
Once again, the Skrull have betrayed the Kree! The Skrull will take their rightful place in the Kree Empire.
And again, it's like, what are you on about? Who are these people? Where's Ben Mendelsohn? Wasn't he the alien in the first movie? Why isn't he here to give us motivation to care? I don't care about saving some people just because those people happen to be the same race as this one guy that I remember from the other movie. That's not how that works. Altogether, my point here is this. In order to survive, Marvel must let go of this blind obsession with everything being connected. All that viewers need to be able to enjoy a movie to its fullest should be in the movie. Maybe you can rely on direct sequels to an extent, but we shouldn't have to do homework. We shouldn't have to watch 40 hours of TV to even have a clue of what's going on.
Where did you get that?
My grandma, she sent it to me in the mail.
What the fuck?
Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. And until Marvel understands that, it will keep hurting itself more and more until there's nothing left to feel. Speaking of, remember that incredibly emotional story I told in another video about my friend? A friend whose life was falling apart when he began to experience hair loss, which unfortunately affects most guys at some point. No, you don't remember. Well, just take my word for it, you are emotionally invested. See, I now have an update on the story. After using this easy treatment for 5 months, my friend was able to stop his hair loss. His hair is as good as new now, not receded at all. And everything's great. His girlfriend agreed to marry him and life is awesome. Very inspirational, right? Marvel thinks yes.
What a story.
And since you're now invested to want to know more, the treatment is called Keeps, the most popular brand in the area of hair loss prevention at an affordable cost. They offer subscription-style personalized hair loss treatment plans delivered to your home, ranging from various FDA-approved options and gels to even hair-thickening shampoos. And according to clinical studies, their treatments are 90% effective at treating hair loss and can increase hair growth by up to 35%.
Strong theory.
So, if you're also a guy wanting to protect your hair without much effort before it's too late, check the link below to read more about Keeps and to also get a special Filmento offer. End of story.
You